to Earth. Well, Middle Earth, anyways. We're reviewing Shadows of Mordor, a game that takes place in the wonderful fantasy universe created by George R.R. Tolkien. I think the book was called Eragon, and they made some game based on it now. You can pick it up for $50, basically all around, but there's no original pricing. It's developed on a heavily modified Lithtech Jupyter engine, and you can check this out at Monolith, or you can check this out, the Linux version at least, at feralinteractive.com. This was developed by Monolith Productions and ported by our good friends at Feral. Now that Brad is gone, that was his last action, is giving us keys for this. So, what is it? Fight round Mordor and uncover the truth of the spirit that compels you. Discover the origins of the Rings of Power. Build your legend and confront Agent Smith. And finally save Hogwarts. And of course, with any game that we cover here, it faces the CHAIRQUISITION. 1 chair means that it's garbage. 2 chairs means that it's meh. 3 chairs means that it's pretty good. 4 chairs means that it's awesome sauce. And we also have categories that do mix with the working, shiny sounds, controls, and fun. And since this is going to be a long review, let's just kick into it. Ven, make with the working.
Brother Svang, all right. How does it work on the Ubuntu 14.04, 81... What do I have, an 8150?
8150.
8150 octo-core business, YOLO RAID SSD, 980 powered, 4K displayed box of business and all this. All right, let's just get to the brass tacks on this. It's playable-ish on high, but you definitely have to keep in mind that I'm throwing a 980 organ at it. Performance, well, to be honest, it's a bit shite compared with the Windows version. Even on low, it struggles to maintain 60 FERPs at 1080. However, it never had the herky-jerks. Instead, the whole game slows down.
It's kind of like G-Sync.
It's kind of a brilliant thing. But we're talking about mix with the workings. It does still fail to close on occasion. Really, you'll notice that. You'll close and you'll come back and maybe I want to play it again. This game is still currently running. And that's not happened once. That's probably happened 5 or 6 times. It's a known bug that has yet to be fixed. And on top of that, it will spite crash. I've had 3 spite crashes, just hung up, and I was like, what? Damn it. Hope that's saved. And to its credit, I've read a lot of people saying, well, the save games get corrupted. Mine have not received such corruption. So, with that slowdown, the performance issues, and the spite crashes, I can't give it a perfect 4, and I'm going to give it 3.
Yeah, actually, apparently the save game corruption thing is an issue with Steam, not with Shadows of Mordor itself. It's with the Steam Play syncing your save game and not doing a very good job about doing it. Yeah, but on the Fedora 22 AMD 1090T NVIDIA GTX 980 powered box of SSD 4K-ness by my foot, it runs. It wasn't running last week, but once I got my mitts on the SSC 4 patch, everything was working. Yeah, performance sucks. I'm noticing a lot lower frame rates than what Ben and Pager were reporting. May have to do with lacking SSE4 as an instruction to accelerate some computations. Probably, maybe not. Yeah, I was ending up playing it at 1080p just because it's miserable. It's like maybe 29 to 35 frames a second at 4K. It's not good. But, I mean, beyond that, I haven't run into any spite crashes, and ever since I got the patch from Feral, everything's working fine, so I'll give that 3 chairs. Dinging it 1 just because the performance is ass! Pedro.
Yeah, on the FX 8370E overclocked 4.2 gigahertz, 16 gigs of 1080 of 1866 RAM, and the GTX 970 Strix on 1080 with the Ultra preset with depth of field disabled. It runs all right. You can tell that the performance is not all there, and sometimes the frames dip so low, the input lag becomes rather obvious. But the thing that annoys me is that most of the frame dips tend to happen when you're like running around and it's raining and there's lightning. And then there's lightning somewhere off screen, and the frames will dip from the high 60s, 70s to like 30. It's something that it's not even on screen. It's kind of annoying. So for me, it gets 3 chairs.
All right, so that's 3 chairs for Mix with Working. Up next, Shinny and Sounds. Ben, how about that water phone?
Water phone, baby. All right, wait, hang on. Is it raining outside? Because I checked more than once. Really, I did playing this game. And we did have some storms in there. And I was like, is it? Because it was raining in the game. genuinely convincing enough to make me take off the handset and kind of look outside. And I'm like, oh, shit, it wasn't. That's good. The atmospheric sound is really that hella amazeballs. I mean, it goes well beyond that, and it genuinely goes double for the voice acting. That's completely top-notch. The soundtrack ranges from really serious sauce to lighthearted fuckery, and that's genuinely difficult to pull off in most cases. The background noise for several of Ratbag's scenes almost feels out of place, but it works. But how does it look, you're saying? Vin, on that 980, how does it look? Is it running good? Even on the lowest settings, you're not going to be disappointed with the way the game looks. I mean, there's going to be a lot of texture pop in once you get there. And, the polygons actually fill in, and it looks all right. But on the highest settings, it could very well be the best-looking Linux game in the world. So, I'm going to have to give that business 4 chairs.
Ooh.
Yeah, the cinematics look amazing, but you can thank Weta Workshop for that. They contributed heavily to the CG for this game. Interestingly enough, I can pretty much by ear ID all the voice actors when they show up, so that's kind of interesting. But yeah, this is a AAA game, so it certainly has the AAA pedigree. The graphics are amazing, even on high with like some of the features disabled, it still looks awesome. But yeah, Ven is certainly right. The atmospheric sound design is very, very, very well done. I too, it was raining here recently, so I too was like, shit, was that actually lightning or was that this thing? Oh, wow, it's good Foley. One thing that really sticks out, so much waterphone. If you're unfamiliar with that instrument, go look it up and you'll realize that this was 90% of the soundtrack for Shadows of Mordor. But it looks good, it sounds good, and it's your standard AAA fare on Linux. So I'll give it 4 chairs.
Yeah, top-notch voice acting. Although, a few hours into the game, you'll start to hear repeats. I'm like, wait a second. You sound like just that Uruk I killed 5 minutes ago. And
because there's like 12 voice actors for the entire game.
Yeah. This is one of the very few games since Counter-Strike Global Offensive that actually made me want to play with these blinky headset that you see here. The Linux version, though, it doesn't support surround sound 5.1. The Windows version does. Still, the directional audio from stereo alone is pretty good. And the music, every now and again, I felt like it was a little too loud for what was going on. But I took it down a couple of notches, and it's good. Right now, it's pretty good. The graphics, of course, look amazing. This is a AAA game on Linux. It's amazeballs. For a AAA game that doesn't, take place in a post-apocalyptic Russian subway station, that's pretty good. And the second area, which takes place by the Great Seashore, can't remember what the actual name was, but it doesn't matter. It looks very green.
Someone call Stephen Colbert!
It looks very green in contrast with the gray-brown things of the first area, which is Undun. And all in all, Shiny and Sounds, this is AAA level, and it doesn't matter how much love indie developers pour into their games, this is on a whole new level. 4 chairs.
All right, so that's 4 chairs for Shiny and the Sounds. And up next is Control. Ven, tell us the story about how you put a controller through your monitor.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gather around. Let's talk about this. Initially, I tried this with the old keyboard gerbil combo of PC glory. I mean, that's a thing. After an hour and some learned abilities, it was Full Metal CXMCM Butterfly #XKCD. It's like, there's too much going on. I'm just thinking, is this a typing instructor? Nay, it's not. And I genuinely, for once, wished I had a Turbo YOLO Gerbil with all the buttons, like P-Man with all the pronouns. I could have probably pulled that off if I could have mapped more stuff. In what can only be described as defeat, I picked up the X-Clone controller and made with the button mashing, and for the most part, It worked. Sorry, did I mention the input lag? That shite's real, son. I thought P-Man was exaggerating, but I have been noped more than once by pressing the right stick. It's your little camera thing right here. And it responded like this. This is a dramatic reenaction. When I hit the right stick to move the camera, the right stick went, what am I? A printer? A monitor? Maybe a webcam? Oh, that's right, I'm a controller. Moves. Yeah, got me killed to death too many times. And don't even get me started about Spider Talon. Spider Talon. Sticks to walls, gets you killed. That's really all I have to say about the controls. I'm going to give it 2 chairs. They're not busted, and I think the controls are... this was genuinely meant for a console game to be played with some type of controller, and I believe the input lag is mostly related to the performance of the game. So it's not necessarily bad controls, it's just having to work around that limitation. So 2 chairs on that. It's not busted, but it needs some TLC.
Yeah, speaking of input lag, when you're dying and you're getting that second chance and you're like, oh yeah, move the analog stick in this direction. I'm like, okay. And then it takes a couple seconds, it's like, oh, you're moving me in this direction. Oh no, too late.
And sometimes you just hit the Y button just in case.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And oh man, no. But I mean, the game works over using the DualShock 4, PlayStation 4 controller, over Bluetooth and wired. All the prompts are correct based on your controller. I swapped it out with the Xbox controller, and when you have a PlayStation controller plugged in, it's, oh yeah, triangle, cross, square, circle. For Xbox controller, it's BAXY. That's all very, very nice. If you've played games like Assassin's Creed or Arkham Asylum, then you basically know how this game controls. It's pretty standard fare for this sort of action, stealthy parkour beat 'em up. The camera controls are really, really fucking screwy. Ven touched on it a little bit, but when you just like walk into an area and the camera's like, I'm gonna reposition myself. Now you can see the 2 walls in front of you and not the knife heading towards the base of your skull, which killed me to death a couple times.
Enjoy this fight. I'll zoom in on this bush.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's great. Especially when you're riding any of the beasts. Not enough to ding that a chair though. The climbing though, jeez. Yes. No, I want to go down. You want to go over? No, I want to go down onto the platform. Oh, you want to drop all the way to the floor? No, I want to descend to this platform so I can stealth kill that stupid archer. Oh, I got it. Let's just, I don't even freaking know anymore. That'll get a ding to chair, so that'll go to 3.
Yeah, I had heard people say how this game was better with the controller, and you've heard Ven say... Ven tends to agree with that sentiment. I, on the other hand, have a Rocat Kova Plus YOLO Swag LED mouse with 7 buttons that, with the Rocat tools for
it's
Linux...
got more buttons than you do fingers.
Yeah. It allows me to remap each and every single one of these buttons to whatever I want. And after 25 hours of play with both the keyboard and the mouse, I have no complaints. It seems to me like this game is perfectly playable with the 2.
Are you telling me you have no input lag whatsoever?
I do. Like I said in the...
You're just going to excuse it. Okay, I got you.
Yes, this game has put me in a very good mood, because this is a very good game. I'll get into it more in the fun section. But I'm going to excuse it on a number of things. The input lag is one of them, because... as far as the combat system goes, it's noticeable, but if you account for it, you can sort of work around it. You can also rebind keys and adjust mouse sensitivity, and the prompts, like Jordan already mentioned, they change accordingly to whatever type of controller or mouse and keyboard or whatever you're using. It'll give you the appropriate prompts on screen. And to me, that's pretty good. I'm going to give it 4 cheers.
All right, so that's 3 cheers for controls. And finally, our last subjective category. And did you have fun?
Well, I put...
you put about 20 hours
20 hours in it now, 12 plus hours is what, at the time of writing. And, that's actually approaching wing time, the last game, Shadow Warrior, that I played for such a duration. I guess the only game I can even remotely compare this to, and even though it wasn't a Linux game, but it was one of my Heretic purchases, and that would be Skyrim. But you just got to remember that. Oh, shiteballs moment in Skyrim when you learned who Paarthurnax was. Yeah, this game lacks that when it comes to story. Well, they try with the whole big, who was the creator of the rings. And it's like, it's kind of, but P-Man's like, well, there's some other stuff that goes on later on, so I'm not going to hold that against him.
But is Aegon Targaryen going to crush the Baratheon rebellion?
Listen, man, I'm not a huge fan of the mythology of George R.R. Martin, so just bear with me here.
All right.
If you loathe stealth games, the first hour is a fuck-mothering chore. Get that in your brain organ. 30 minutes in, I hit the googs, and I tried to figure out just what the hell I was doing wrong, because I was absolutely, genuinely getting killed to death. Turns out, Mr. Ranger Pants starts out a bit useless. Seriously. Was Talon in the Ranger Reserves, ? Because I kind of understand why Hallis didn't want budget rangers snogging his daughter. Hell, he was probably just concerned about Talon's ability to defend his Oh, right. About 4 hours in, you finally collect enough abilities to have some proper fun. And by proper fun, I mean the ability to curb stomp some York. But don't let that fool you. The game does a proper job of ramping up the difficulty. Just last night, well, it was technically this morning, I was a tad overconfident and targeted the wrong fucking war chief, and reverted back to, fuck, run, because I don't want to kill him, for the system to balance that out. Speaking of that, I have no clue how to take advantage of the Nemesis system. I use it as a checklist. That's it. Kill all the things. I don't understand. I know how it works, but I don't understand the usefulness of it. That has not been properly conveyed to me, but I'm a bit thick. And by the way, Mordor has some bugs and some glitches. That's not Feral's fault at all. I mean, they did a very genuine copy of all the bugs that are in the Windows version have come over to the Linux version. But at the end of the day, I really enjoyed it. It's fun. I've put 20 fucking hours into this, and I plan on probably putting another 10 or 15. So, yeah, this is a brilliant thing. With all of its flaws, it doesn't have the lackady hairdo. It doesn't have sparkly cowboy boots. It needs some performance patches. It needs to sort the controller shit out right. And once they get that sorted, this could very well be one of the better games that we've ever had on the Linux platform. So, on the fun section, I'm going to give it a solid 3 chairs.
Oh yeah, it's certainly entertaining, and it's not easy. One of the nice things is that the game's AI learns from your patterns, and if you adopt one strategy for taking people out, they're gonna know. Oh, hey, post archers everywhere. Don't have bushes, or spread out, and don't. Anyways, it's the Nemesis system is really good for that. I still haven't discovered the ins and outs. I just basically run around and start interrogating every group of people I find, and gets you your arrows back, gets you some free instant kill.
Are you talking about the video game or real? Okay.
No, and then I went home and started playing Shadow.
Little column A, little column B. All right, guys.
Much like Ben, probably a little bit worse because I got a late start to the game. I died a lot during the intro and fucked a lot of the positioning up. Some people I wanted to maybe turn against each other, or I don't even remember what the state my Nemesis system is because I haven't been playing for a couple hours. But I am gonna go back and play this game some more. It is genuinely fun. It is Batman and Middle Earth. It's your standard prototypey Assassin's Creed, Infamous type game, and I think Linux is certainly lacking that. We're probably going to get another one when Batman comes out. I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, no bugs. Like Ven mentioned in the Mix with Working, this game does not like to quit if you close it, and this happened every time I have closed the game. It just has the process keep running in the background. I have a legitimate extra hour of gameplay on this game because I exited to go take a break or get a snack or something, and it's still running in the background. One thing Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's entertaining. It is a fun game. I don't really have much else to say about that. So, 3 chairs.
Yeah, it's very hard to put it down once you start it, and that's not even talking about the bug that the game doesn't close.
You can easily lose a couple hours and not realize it.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna go over here. Oh wait, it's dinner time.
On my end, I haven't had that bug that you exit the game and it doesn't close. It's actually been working reasonably well. I haven't had any of the spite crashes at all either. So I don't know what the hell's up with that, but it is very hard to put it down once you start playing. And as far as power fantasy fulfilling games go, this one is hands down the best Linux game that we have for that. There are bugs, yes, there are. I haven't had any of the crashes, but every now and again, the physics engine will lock up, and when you kill an Uruk, they'll just stiffen up and fall to the ground like they were statues, like.
It's because they're weeping angels, Pedro.
Yeah. It also happened more than once that I was, telling Talion to climb a wall, and he jumps onto a ledge that is still slightly off screen, and at this point I'm guessing that the surrounding bits hadn't rendered yet, and he literally gets stuck in a wall. It's like, oh, you're halfway into the wall at this point. Huh. Thankfully, the game makes it so that you can fast travel to one of the Barat Silm at that point, so it's barely an inconvenience. Admittedly, it's kind of an amusing one. I've dinged chairs, and this goes back to the previous section as well. I've dinged chairs to other games for less issues than this game has, but this one is so good and it's put me in such a good mood that I'm willing to overlook the 10 times that the input lag has killed me and the times I wound up inside a wall. So for me, it gets 4 chairs.
All right, and if we tally that up, we get 3 chairs for fun, and we tally that whole mess up, and we get 3 whole chairs for Shadows of Mordor Middle-earth. And yeah, I mean, it's nice to see some Lord of the Rings getting represented on Linux. I didn't really get into the story in the fun section. It does some interesting things with the existing mythology. I thought Celebrimbor was an interesting choice for having him being your Wraith companion. He's the guy who originally created the rings. Sauron just gave him the schematics. Blah, blah, blah. Nerds! Go read the Silmarillion. Pedro.
Yeah, unless someone comes out of the blue and blows me away with their game, this is going to be Linux Game of the Year for me.
I don't know. I mean, there's a couple things. If this critter actually gets a genuine performance boost, the next patches or next few patches, I mean, this isn't busted like Dying Light was. Dying Light was completely fucking unplayable. This is completely fucking playable in the biggest way.
It's just like Raven's Cry.
I know, right? You'll do yourself a favor if you cut off Steam Overlay and the FERPs counter, because once you see how low it's dipping, but it just slows down. It's a very classy way of doing it without giving you the herky jerks. Maybe when I get further in the game and I actually run into Joffrey or the Mountain or the Kingslayer, I'll get more into the story. But yeah, I'm going to have to agree with Pedro. I mean, this could be the Linux Game of the Year, at least until the goddamn Batman arrives.
I'm still holding my breath for Gauntlet.